Okay, we are getting near the end of this build. Let's get started. Now, this part of the build is almost exactly like the C-beam machine build. Okay. Now, these two pieces are $390. Now, the y-axis, the old y-axis, which is the new x-axis, which will be mounted to this, is $390. You want to be very careful when you cut. You don't want to cut at all over $390 because you want this, you'll get in trouble with the end caps if you do. So these are actually cut these to $389. I marked them at $390 and cut just to the inside of the line, and they're exactly, or as close to exactly as I can imagine, the same length, $389. Now these are the cutoffs, so these are going to be the sides, okay, and then these are going to be the cross pieces. Let's see. So this is going to be set up like this, and then these 250 millimeter pieces of C-beam are from the mini mill, and they are going to go, let's see, they're going to go like this, okay, and it'll be built up just like the C-beam machine. The only difference is, instead of a 4x3, which is what you ended up with on the C-beam machine, the way it was built, this is all ready together, and it's going to be a 4x2, but I think that's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it at all. So we're going to go through and put just about the same number of brackets as on the C-beam machine build to get this together. And so to get started, well, I'll kind of do it in the order that they did it. Well, let me show you here just to remind you. But if you have any questions, you really should go watch the C-beam build. So we're going to have two corner brackets down here holding this on there. We're going to have two corner brackets here. Okay, then we're going to have one corner bracket here, and then we're going to have two corner brackets here, okay, and then we're going to have a couple of corner brackets like this, I guess, to hold the y or that new x-axis up. Okay, so let's start by preparing these two. And I'm going to put these in this order, so I'm going to kind of keep that like that. Okay, so we're going to want a couple of T-nuts here. In each one of these. And notice how this is my pile of leftover parts still from the mini mill, so I'm still just drawing from that stash. Okay. And then we're going to want a couple at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and put those C brackets on here instead of on the x-axis, which is how they suggested doing it after they had done it the other way to start with. Okay. Now for all of these, you're going to need 8mm screws, so you go to your 8mm screw stash. Looks like we're going to need 8 for that. And then you're going to need 8 corner brackets. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and get those in place. Okay, then we're going to want 2 more corner brackets on this side and this side. Okay, so those are ready. So those, we'll go ahead and set those up out here. And now we'll work on this, okay? I'll just put these here. Those are going to go like that. Okay. Now, on these, like I say, once again, it's just like the C-beam machine build. So we're gonna have 2 corner brackets here and here, and 1 corner bracket here and here, and then we're gonna have 2 corner brackets in the middle on the outside slots for attaching the new y-axis. Okay, so let's go ahead and get all our T-nuts in there. So we need 2 there. I need, on the front, I need 2 in the middle. And then I need 2 on the end. Okay. And then on the back one, I need 1 in the front of the back one. Oops. Then I need 2 in the middle for the y-axis. And then I'm going to need 2 on each end for these brackets. Okay, so I need 2 more in each end on the back. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the outside corner brackets on. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for that. And for those we need, since the knobs go inside, we need the 8mm screws. And that takes care of those brackets. So now I need to bring in, I'm going to have some T-nuts. I'll need 3 in this middle row. I need 2 for this end. I need 1 down here. Okay. And then these are going to be 10mm screws. And then I want to do the same over here. Okay, so that's all the brackets and that we need for now. Okay, now just like on the C-beam bill, first thing you want to do is line up the face of this with this side of that 20 by 30. Okay, and then once you get that lined up, you can loosen these a little bit. Crank this one down. Okay. We'll check for square, but you want to be sure and get it flush. Now, if you've got a mat like this, you can line up a little bit on that. The marks are very close to a full inch mark, so that'll help a little bit. You can kind of keep it square that way. So now we're going to do the same thing with this one. Loosen this a little bit. Make sure well, actually, we want to bring this in now. Okay, we don't want to tighten this up too much because we want to flush up the back. Maybe I should turn this around. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this around so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Now, these need to line up on the back flush, but to get these in, I'm going to have to add 2 T-nuts on each side. Now, this will be T-nuts from your new parts, okay, and actually that's probably all you need is 4 additional T-nuts. I may add another corner bracket in here to the back of the X gantry later, but I'll do that later. Actually, because I've got exactly enough corner brackets on hand to finish this up like it is. Okay. So put 2 on the top on each side, and then I'm going to loosen these and let them drop down. Okay. And then to connect these, I'm going to need 10mm screws. I've still got a lot of 10mm screws left, so out of the mini mill stash. And we'll connect those. Now that we've got those in place, we want to make sure this is up against there, okay? And then we can take care of tightening these. So these are fixed flush with the back. So we'll push this against there and go ahead and fix these in there. Okay, let's see, I want to make sure. I'm going to loosen this a little bit. And then I want to tighten this. You may have to go back and forth to get all this right, but that's okay. Tighten that down. now before we drop these and attach them, I want to check for square. Now I'm going to line it up on these lines and see how things look. See if I've got a good mark to go on in the back. This is just that looks pretty good. Yeah, I've got a good line here on the back. How am I in the front? Let's see. Yeah. I'm a little out of square. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like here. Okay, I went around and got it where everything is very square. Double check all of these. That's good. And that's good. And that's good. And that's good. So this is square. So what we have to do now is we go ahead and line up these T-nuts down here with these corner brackets. And then we can drop the corner brackets. Okay, now that I've got all of these started, I can go ahead and tighten them down. Okay, now that those are all tight, I can go ahead and crank these on the column down. Okay, I can use the driver for that one. Okay. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now, on the C-beam build, the corner brackets that fit here were actually put on the Y-axis, but I didn't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on now, on here. Okay, and so that's 4 more corner brackets out of your new parts, and then you're going to need 4 8mm screws out of new parts for these. And I think that's a total of only 6 8mm screws we've had to add. So we will that'll complete this part, and we'll start adding the axes. Now I'm going to put the XZ assembly on before I do the Y axis, partly because I want to show you how I measure to know exactly where the Y axis is going to fit, and I want the XZ assembly in to do that. So I'm going to set this up out of the way for a minute.